No one, when he has lit a lamp, puts it in a secret place or under a basket, but on a lampstand, that those who come in may see the light. The lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, when your eye is good, your whole body also is full of light. But when your eye is bad, your body also is full of darkness. Therefore, take heed that the light which is in you is not darkness. If then your whole body is full of light, having no part dark, the whole body will be full of light, as when the bright shining of a lamp gives you light. My name's Arthur. Thank you for joining me as we continue to share together Jesus' teaching to the crowds as they gather around him from Luke chapter 11, and we've read verses 33 to 36. This chapter began with Jesus teaching his disciples the Lord's Prayer and promising that when we have a need and ask the Father, he will grant our need, and he will grant the Holy Spirit. If we desire holiness in our lives, he will give us his Holy Spirit that we might be holy. His enemies had accused him of driving out evil spirits by the prince of the demons, but Jesus had argued that that is a ridiculous idea. Rather, while Satan was a strong man that bound men, he was stronger and was able to release men. And so there were two classes of people, those who are against me and those who are with me. And that the battle is a spiritual one, for many people have wrong thinking, and by driving out spirits he was able to restore them to a right mind. But the people wanted Jesus to prove himself. They were not satisfied with the evidence that they had, his remarkable teaching and his remarkable deeds. Everyone was amazed at Jesus' teaching. That's why so many crowds were there. They came to hear him, and yet they said, "This is not enough for us. We hear your teaching, but give us a sign." But Jesus was continually performing miracles. These were signs. This is what God had said in Isaiah the Messiah would do. He would heal the sick, he would raise the dead, he would preach the gospel to the poor, and blessed are those who responded to his message. But the skeptics in the crowd said, "Prove yourself, give us a sign." And Jesus had said there will be no sign given to this generation except the sign of Jonah. Jonah was a sign to the Ninevites. He had spent 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of the great fish. And Jesus would explain that he would spend 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth, and then he would rise again. This would be the ultimate sign that he is who he claims. And so we have 2 lines of evidence validating Jesus, his remarkable teaching, and we are still exploring and thinking about his teaching today, and the remarkable things that he did, culminated in even raising himself from the dead. And now Jesus goes on to say, no one, when he's lit a lamp, puts it in a secret place or under a basket, but on a lampstand, that those who come in may see the light. At night time, we need lights. But when you light a lamp, you put it in the place where it is of most benefit. You put it on a stand, unencumbered by other things, so that its light spreads throughout the room. We put our lights in our ceilings and on our walls so that they shine throughout the room. That's the whole purpose. There's no point having a lamp in a cupboard where the light does not shine into the room. Sometimes you do have lamps in cupboards so that you have light in the cupboard. But the point of the light is to give light. He then says, well, the point of the eye in the body is for the body to have light. And there's a real sense in which the body receives light through the eyes. But if you're blind, or if your eye is covered, then you are in darkness, and you try and use your other senses to work out what's around you, but you are severely limited in perceiving what's around you. Your body is in darkness, and a body in darkness does not know which way to go. But if you have light, then you can see the path you need to follow. This is a very dramatic picture that Jesus is just presenting to us, but what does it mean? Well, Jesus comes to us as the light of the world. And Jesus doesn't come to be a secret that's reserved for a few. God will place the light on a lampstand. And in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, we find that the lampstand is the church. In fact, the churches. There's a great diversity among Christian churches in circumstances and the way that they present Jesus. But all of them represent Jesus. They are lampstands from which the light shines forth. They are not the light themselves. They are lampstands. They are places from which the light shines forth. And so Jesus, the light of the world, has come into the world and established the church, that his light might shine forth from the church, and that the world may have light because of the church. Now this is extending what Jesus is just saying here, bringing together later verses as the disciples and apostles came to understand that Jesus is the light and the church is the lampstand. All that Jesus says here is that the lamp, when it's lit, is not put in a secret place or under a basket. It's put on a lampstand. And so the message of Jesus is not a secret message that is hidden from people. It is a message that is proclaimed throughout all the earth by the company of those who believe it, by the church, by the lampstand, that the light may come to all the world. And when the light comes to all the world, then individuals must respond to the light. They see the light, they must come to the light. For Jesus must come into our hearts and into our lives. Jesus challenges them, therefore, and says, "Take heed that the light which is in you is not darkness." Those of us who have eyesight, we understand how light works. But if you have never seen light, if you are born blind, then it's very difficult to understand what people are talking about when they talk about light, because it is outside of your experience. So Jesus is challenging all people to test their understanding, test their thinking. Take heed that the light which is in you is not darkness. Well, how can we do that? We need to come to the light, and Jesus is the light. And when we see Jesus, Jesus will illuminate all aspects of our life, our character. He searches our inner thoughts. He deals with us on a personal basis as we draw near to him. And of course, we need to draw near to the light. The light is on a lampstand, but it's not the lampstand that gives us the light. It is the lamp, Jesus himself, that is the light. The lampstand is simply the piece of furniture, as it were, to hold the lamp up that the light might shine. So our responsibility as believers is to lift the lamp up, to proclaim Jesus, that people might come to him. They're not coming to us, they're coming to him. And when they come to him, then he gives them light. And when you have light in your body, in the day, you can work for him. But if you're in darkness, then you cannot see, you do not know where you are or where you're going. So yet again, Jesus brings the challenge to us to examine our own understanding, to make sure that we are in the light and not in the dark. If the light is there and you cannot see, then the problem is your eyesight, not the light. Those who came to Jesus saying, "Give us a sign," the signs were there. The teaching of Jesus, the miracles that he was performing were evident. The problem was their own hearts. They refused to acknowledge the evidence. They chose to close their eyes and justified themselves by just asking for yet another sign.